Hi, I want to chat about using alcohol as a reward. Right, if you're anything like me when I was drinking, and a lot of my clients, you probably, whenever someone mentions a reward, or whenever anyone talks about celebrating, or whenever you think you've done something that deserves a reward, the chances are the thought of alcohol comes up in your mind fairly quickly. I can remember thinking that I was hardwired, that if ever anything good happened or anyone suggested celebrating, then the thought of a glass of Prosecco or a glass of champagne or a cocktail or a glass of wine, the thought of that came into my head. It was almost as if it was a computer program because it was on automatic, right? And I know a lot of my clients have a similar belief. So I think it's helpful to look at, like, is that belief, is it really a reward? Like, what does it actually do? Why do we think that alcohol is going to be a reward? And does it deliver what we think it will? So we've been heavily marketed to believe that alcohol is going to be a reward, right? And you can see it if you just want to walk into a card shop and you see the amount of cards that have got pictures of alcohol on the front. So a reward or a celebration. What you should do is have a drink, right? Have you ever had a difficult day at work, or you've finished a project, or you've done something good? What do people say? You deserve a drink tonight, right? So there's so many occasions where we have been told, or we tell ourselves, that we should drink alcohol because we deserve it and because it is a reward. But if we look at what a reward means, right, a reward should be something that makes you feel good, right? And it shouldn't make you feel worse afterwards, right? And let me just give you a simple example. Let's say that I chose a film I really wanted to watch, and I decided I was going to go to the cinema as a reward, right? So I went to the cinema, I watched the film. Now, the next day, I should still get enjoyment out of watching that film, right? As long as I picked a film that I liked, chances are the next day I'm going to remember it. I'm going to enjoy remembering it, and I might mention it to some other people, right? So the good feeling lasts throughout watching the film, then also afterwards and into the next day. Now, if we look at alcohol, if we have a bottle of wine as a reward, because, I get it, you might see an image of people holding a single glass, but the reality is that most people don't stop at one, and most people will have more than they want to have, whether that's half a bottle, two-thirds of a bottle, more than a bottle. The chances are you're going to drink more than you want to. So if we look at how you feel afterwards, well, after the short buzz that you get from the alcohol, you get a negative impact, right? So the alcohol starts leaving your system, and your brain releases chemicals to keep you balanced. But unfortunately, as alcohol leaves your system, you start feeling worse. That will create a desire for more. So you might keep on drinking. If you stop drinking, you're going to feel low for a couple of hours, but let's say you carry on, then you go to bed and you don't get a good night's sleep. Now, you might think you did because you might pass out when you hit the pillow, but it's not going to be good quality sleep. And then the next day, you're not going to feel great, right? So, how can it be a reward if we feel worse afterwards? Like, if I go to the cinema, I don't regret it the next day. I don't spend the day after recovering from going to the cinema, right? I don't sort of recover and say, well, I can't go for a run because I'm recovering from going to the cinema. Like, that would just sound ridiculous, right? But it's quite funny how we don't think twice about alcohol being a reward. And I was been chatting to some of my clients about this, and the most common thing when people use alcohol for reward is we talk about how they feel the next day. And they say things like, I feel horrible, I feel really bad, or I had to take my kids out, so I made sure I'd done all the things I had to, but I didn't feel great. And it's interesting, isn't it? Like, what other reward would we accept feeling bad for a full day afterwards? So here's my suggestion. If this resonates for you, think of a better quality reward, right? And my challenge is a reward should be something that doesn't make you feel worse afterwards. If you've got any questions or suggestions, please post below. Thanks very much.